make a review of this then. It's a Philco PA207 that I got last year, 1990 something, so therefore it is touching 30 years old. Quite surprised it's still here, of course. Well, sort of. There's a hell of a lot of Philco still about, and yet Philco was not a popular brand. Made in Italy and then brought over here. No induction motor on this, it's 1200 spin, so therefore it's brushed. Got a couple of problems. The other problem I seem to found with it is after testing it, it tested fine on 90 wash, but then when it did its first 90 wash, it decided to overheat somehow and then advance all the way to the end after trying to fill it with water and cool down several times until the end. Bit of an old one, don't know why. But other than that, it's been okay. Right, take a look there. This is on the detergent dispenser cover. There are 16 programs listed, but only actually 14 on the actual dial. And that's because the number 1 and number 2 are set out twice. Number 1, whites with pre-wash. Number 1, 60-degree whites with pre-wash. Number 2, 90-degree whites. 2, 60-degree whites. Then 3, fast colours. 4, fast colours. Again, hang on, that's not right. Non-fast colours, that should be, shouldn't it? Right, 5 deep rinses, 6 softeners, 7 normal spin, which is at 1200 RPM. Then number 8 is synthetics with a pre-wash, up to 60 degrees. Number 9 synthetics at 60 degrees. Number 10 synthetics at 50 degrees, which would be also known as coloured synthetics. Number 11 delicate colours at 40 degrees. 12 with delicate rinses. 13 delicate spin, which is actually about 800 RPM. So it's still quite fast. And number 14 is the wool wash. That's it. There's no rinses or spin laid out for that. There's also no drain only option either on this. Sort of. Max load for cottons is 5 kilo. Max load for synthetics is 1.5 kilo. And max load for woolens is only 1 kilo. Right, I find that the cotton's wash rhythm is fine. It's the synthetics wash rhythm which is a bit anemic, considering it's for synthetics, and there is obviously a optional wool wash. Right, now we've got the on-off button, then we've got 4 option buttons here. We've got 90 degrees, which has to be pushed in to access the 90 degree program. Then we've got what looks to be more water, but only on the rinses. Then we've got no spin. And then we've got spin reduction. Now, spin reduction is actually a bit of a limiter. So spin reduction can be used on all programs instead of just cottons. It's supposed to probably reduces the final spin from 1200 to around 8 on cottons, and synthetics like from about 800 to about 500-ish, something like that. You can tell that when you have no spin that the spin profile is exactly the same, just lowered. Likewise, obviously got no spin, which will override spin reduction. But also no spin will mean that it will no spin on all the spins. Good, I think, no spin if you're washing one item, because then at the end you're going to have to throw something else in to make it kind of balance properly. Right, then over here we've got 2 dials. We've got our temperature dial, cold, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60. And then our program dial over here, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as also marked out, the cottons is in teal colour. Then we've got sky blue for the synthetics, and then a aqua colour for the wool cycle. Got a little sticker there, conformity label basically. So at the bottom we've also got our flap. It's a typical Philco flap with a Philco ratings plate. See? And this is our filter as well. Now this is just a filter that comes out. The pump's further back. But it's a good filter though, it's quite big. and it's like an actual tray. So it's not like you turn the filter and everything's turning inside. You just turn that and then that pulls out a tray. So it's a bit like the Maloney one, found on services, only much bigger. Our door handle is behind this recess here. We've also got another barcode here to say what it is. And inside we've got our drum. 5 kilo drum. The door seal's actually in quite good condition. No mould or anything like that on it. Alright, open up the door. Put some more washing in. Now, when you select a program, just make sure that this program dial is ever so slightly on or after the program number. Also, don't turn the program dial backwards because that will just break it. And of course, we'll set the program temperature to 60 degrees. We'll select spin reduction, and we'll select high rinse level. Alright, draws into 3 compartments. A is if you select program 1 or program 8 with a pre-wash, basically. And program B, B is for all your main wash detergent. And compartment C, labelled with the max fill indicator at there, is your fabric softener. Although clearly 20ml not made a dent in that fabric softener compartment. So it fills up and B, so it looks like that B is for hot water only and A is for cold water only. Now what the machine now does is while it's filling, it will continue going this way until it is full of water. At the same time, it's obviously soaking the load as quickly as possible. And because it's already turning, the detergent's already been picked up and dissolved. Right, so what to give this out of 10 then? Well, it's going to get a bit disappointingly 5 out of 10. Chief amongst which is to do with its reliability. They weren't that great. I still can't understand how this is still leaking. But the other problem is the spin. It's 1200 spin, yes, but it doesn't feel like a 1200 spin. It feels a lot slower. It feels more like, say, a 900 or 800 even. It doesn't spin at 1200 for very long, if at all. So to advertise it as a 1200 isn't very good. I mean, come on, I know Hotpoint had 1200s and they did a pulse spin as well, but they went to 1200 for a lot longer. They were also at 1000 for a lot longer too, giving much better spin results. Other thing is, as well, rinsing can be a bit anemic if the extra rinse button isn't selected, the high rinse button. And, like I said earlier in the video, the synthetic tumbles are a bit anemic for what it is. They're not great. And the other thing is, as well, is trying to get the dial to line up with any of the programs. You can be one sector out quite a lot on this, quite easily, because there's no feel of when you're actually on a program. Not like Bosch or Hotpoint or Zanussi or any of the bigger brands, or even Indesit. Indesit was slightly easier to get on. Also, why the 90 wasn't incorporated to the dial, I'm not sure. I do think the way it works is a bit different. But that also being said, considering at the time, that temperature dial is single sector look, like, you know, 60, 55, 50, 45, 35. It's not like a traditional thermostat dial. It's a bit ahead of its time in that sense. I do like the fact that slow spin isn't just cutting the spin, but actually the entire whole phase of this as well, just being slower, which is nice. But that also gets me onto another problem with this, is creasing. It actually creases quite a lot, considering that, you know, this is only a 1200 spin, and not a very good 1200 spin at that. So to have clothes that come out quite creased is a bit alarming, really. It's got a bit of charm to it, being an older machine. It's got a bit of character to the machine. I do like the slow ramp up and down on the spins. It does work, and it does drain rather well. I do like the bigger filter on it as well. So there is positives to the negatives as well. But yeah, for the machine at the time, it wasn't that good in comparison to other brands out there. So that's why it's getting a 5 out of 10, and it's not disastrous. I just think if you were going back in time to the early 90s, that's when you'd probably pick more of a Hotpoint or even an Indesit rather this. Right, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.